All right, we are going live, and we are early. We were going to go at 1 p.m. today, but we've got weather moving in. And we'll wait for a few people to come on board. This is Durr.
Hey, gang.
Durwood, what's going on? Who's up early? That's what I want to see. Hey, hey, hey. Here they come. How you guys doing? We're going early today. We got really bad weather moving in. So we'll see how many folks we get. Who are the early risers? How you guys doing? Let's see what we got here. Good morning from Canada, Kentucky. Hazel's here. Hey, hey, Canada, Candy, what's going on? We're probably going to get a smaller crowd today because we're so early, but we got to go early because the weather is going to be.
The people in UK will be happy.
Yeah, if you guys look at the radar for Chicago area, oh man, we're about to get pounded. So we thought we would just. Everybody can watch this on replay. Everybody who can't make it. But yeah, we are walking to the scene. Which is not that far ahead here. No. Let's see who we got here. Mr. Firewood. Hi, Firewood. What's Hi, Firewood? What's going on, you guys? Glad you could come. So here's the deal. We are in this forest preserve together. And it is a bog. It's really kind of spooky in here. We're going early, like I said, because we got weather moving in. Pretty bad weather. And there's this story that happened back in the 1990s where there were these boys that were partying out here. They had and by the way, thank you for the money. Who is that? Irish Eyes 5, thank you. I think that's £5 sterling. So we had these boys that were out here, and my glasses are fogging up. Great. And they are one of the boys. They had this place down the road. It was called the Chicken Coop.
It was a chicken coop converted into a studio apartment the kid lived in.
Right.
And they named it Castle Zoom.
Castle Zoom
is what they named it. Yeah, and that was where they just
and it was
hang
a
out.
chicken coop that was heated, and they would all like go there and smoke pot and drink. You know, teenagers back in the 90s, right?
Right.
So one of them was kind of a camo guy, kind of a gun guy, and he was always out in the woods and stuff. So he would always be prowling around in here. And he went and he came across a body. It was a dead body of a guy who was 38 years old, as it turned out, and he was sitting by this willow tree. We can keep walking.
Yeah.
He's sitting by this willow tree, and his knees are crunched up, and he's dead. He's kind of like, and it's November getting into December, so he's partially frozen, and this kid is like, hey man, holy cow. Goes back, tells his buddies, and then the next buddy tells another buddy. Next thing you know, 3 or 4 know, and then before you know it, after a few more parties and get drunk, 6 to 7 guys know about it. So now there's a group, and what they're doing is they're coming back here at night. Look at this. Can you imagine coming here at night? This is really spooky. And there's bogs. I mean, if you don't know your way around, you're going to go into a sinkhole. Now, I have bogs. I have some bog marsh on my property up in Mercer, and there is quicksand. So we're on the trail, and we scouted this out yesterday. We're going to the spot. And so they're partying out here with this dead guy for months, all winter, right?
Yeah, it went on for at least almost 5 months, and it all started at a party. So one guy said, hey, you guys all want to see something cool?
Right.
And that's how it began. And then
Yeah.
they said, yeah, we want to see something.
You know, and you're like in your late teens or early
Yeah.
20s, and it's like, wow, cool. So they're coming out here, and I guess the guy, his what was his name? Bruce.
His name was Dennis.
Dennis Bruce Jones, right?
Yeah.
And there was a suicide note, because what happened was these guys actually started blabbing too much. They worked at Gander Mountain, was it?
Yeah, two of them did.
Two of them did, and they're blabbing away. Somebody overhears them and tips off the police. Next thing you know, there's an investigation. The police come out here and they find him, Dennis Bruce Jones, and he has a gunshot wound to the head and a gunshot wound to the chest, 22 caliber. Don't know if it's a semi-automatic or if it was a revolver. But anyway, the bottom line is probably what happened was he shot himself in the chest. He shot himself in the chest, and then 22, missed the heart, or maybe it, whatever. You're not going to die. He's probably in some pain, so he's like finished himself off. So when they found the body, there was like a whole hollow spot. His whole insides, the animals they were already working on him. But they came out here for months and months, and we're actually at the spot here.
Probably work our way through.
Yeah, let's work our way in here. I'm gonna flip the camera around so you guys can see. Now, you see those willow trees back there? Looks like 3 willow trees way in the back. That's where he had killed himself. So let's go back in there. Why don't you go first, Dur?
Dennis was supposed to meet a girl out here that had just broken up with him.
Yeah.
They were supposed to meet one more time. And it turns out there was a suicide note on his body. Her name was Maureen.
Well, the note to Maureen, basically, he wanted to marry her, and she turned him down. And you know what we talked about this. He was probably going to kill her and then kill himself. We can't accuse that, but there's a chance that it's a good thing.
It could have been a suicide murder.
It could have been. I mean, think about it.
I can't have you, nobody can.
Well, yeah, you don't know, but so the suicide note basically said, "I love you," and a whole bunch of stuff, which included, well, like he was behind child payments, divorce, 38 years old, and I guess he was not able to see his kids, visitation. Former wife would not let him see his kids, so he's completely despondent. They said he was a drifter here in Ingleside. Where's Ingleside? Is just by Fox Lake, right?
Right next to Fox Lake.
Just south.
I guess we assume him being a drifter. We don't know that for sure, but
Yeah.
nobody ever reported him missing, so maybe...
Very good point. Nobody reported him missing for yeah. Now, what's interesting, his sister, she thought he went out to Vegas. That I did read that, but still, you should have.
I think the parents were already deceased at the time, so
Yeah.
We'll know at the grave. They're all at one.
So there are the willow trees. This is where the suicide happened. This is where they would camp out with the body for 5 months. And again, those of you who came on, we're going early because if you look at radar Chicago, we're about to get pummeled. So we thought we better get this in, and everybody else, you guys can watch it on, watch it delayed, because this will be processed. We're with Durwood here, who gave us the tip on this story, and we are in the Forest Preserve bog. And as I mentioned, you've got to be really careful. I was talking about bogs, and some of these areas, no doubt, if you get into those marshlands, you have quicksand. Well, I shouldn't say quicksand, it's quick mud. I have gotten into it in my Mercer place in our marsh swamp area, and it went up to my hips, couldn't get out. I had a tree, luckily. Really bad stuff. So you got to really check your footing here. We're pretty good here. But we're going early because I know I said 1 p.m., but we have, if you look, like I said, look at radar, there's big weather coming in here. I'd rather get this in and everybody can watch it on tape than not getting it in at all. Now look at this. We have really old willows. These are the only willows, so we know this is, well, we know where it happened actually. And what's really creepy, as you look at these, there are severe burn marks all over these trees. Now, if the kids were here lighting that on fire, there would be evidence on the ground probably. This looks to me like lightning strikes. And what is really spooky to me is that not only, I mean, how many lightning strikes? I will bet you every storm, this is a cursed place. You are getting lightning strike after lightning strike.
It's a good thing we're early.
Yeah, I would not want to be here in a storm. Let's take a look where it happened right here, guys. We'll show you the seat, the fatal seat. Durwood actually found this and pointed it out. And well, he has the intel. But here it is, guys. This is where it happened. He was leaning right against this tree here. He had his knees up. He shot himself in the chest. Why don't you sit down there? Let's just see how comfy that is. Shot himself in the chest.
His knees were still up the whole time?
Yeah, just like that.
His arms were down this way. The gun was laying here. The first teenager that found him, we believe, picked up the gun.
Wow. Yeah, first guy that found him, his chest was hollowed out from the animals, and by spring they found him on, it all blew up at Easter, right?
Easter's when it came to an end, but they would come out here. I read that they went through his pockets. One kid took a big lighter.
A lighter.
Another kid, I don't know if he had any money or not, I didn't say, but the one kid took the gun, and that's what the police were really after.
He took the gun, 22 caliber, and from what I read, the gun was recovered in North Carolina because the kid that took the young man that took the gun, one of the group took it from him, went to North Carolina, and believe me, when this blew up, police called and said, you better have that at a police station in 24 hours. And the one guy that took the gun, we're not going to say his name, he ended up arrested, $100,000 bond. But, you know, in the end, they're teenagers, young. I mean, I'm not excusing it, but look at this. This is really a spooky area. It's like a hollow.
Getting close to Easter, one of the kids called one of the other kids and said, hey, you better turn your TV on.
Yeah?
And he turned the TV on, and there was all the police surrounding the Willow Bog, police tape and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were all out here searching?
Yeah,
or police tape?
Yep, and before you know it, all them kids were getting a knock on their door.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know how one friend would, young guys, they would, it's Johnny and Jimmy. They were with me. Yeah, so those of you who joined late, this is where, right here, Durwood was sitting right there where the body was found. Gunshot wound to the chest, and then the fatal, well, they were both fatal, but to finish himself off, he had to do it to a headshot, 22 caliber.
Apparently, he wrote in his note that, to Maureen, his suicide note, that, hey, I did take my boots off because it was a long walk and my feet were hurting me. So his cowboy boots were sitting next to him.
His cowboy boots were laying there, yeah.
Cowboy boots were laying next to him.
Wow.
Because he took the long route. He came in the long way.
Yeah, he came on a long walk. Now look at this. How many lightning strikes? I'm really glad we didn't come in here during a storm, which is coming. I was going to do it, and I was going to tell Durwood to stay home. I wasn't going to let him come with, but then we were talking, and we're like, let's just get out there before it hits. Look at this. How many times has this been hit by lightning? Wow. This is, boy, it goes way down there. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, we should have pretty good picture here because we've got many bars and it goes way up. This,
I guess there were no charges to all the kids that came out here. It's in Illinois at the time, there was no law that if you found a dead body, by law you had to turn it in.
right.
So they were all charges dropped and never made.
Well, I could just tell you something. This is kind of an evil place because you, just judging by the evidence of the burn marks, this gets hit over and over by lightning. What a picture if you're standing, if you had a camera on this. It is a very haunting place. And could you imagine if you were the one to find Dennis Bruce Jones?
These kids came in the pitch dark. I couldn't imagine walking back here in the dark. I mean,
Well,
knowing that you're gonna even see
we talked about this. They were here with him for months and drinking and imagine if they were doing a seance and you know they had to have flashlights or candles, maybe a bonfire. They probably kept real low key because they didn't want to get caught. No, I would never come back here at night. Especially now, imagine the ghosts or the ghost. No, sir. All right, well, what we can do, boy, look at that one over there, it's just as bad. Just as bad. Well, you have anything to add to the story before we hit the cemetery?
Pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said the gun finally got returned.
Right.
They wanted it for forensics.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We are going to hit the cemetery now. What we're going to do is we're going to sign off the live, hike back to the car. We're going to together go to the cemetery. Durwood has located the grave. And the only challenge there is going to be, I went yesterday, there's only one bar, so there's no guarantees, but we're gonna do something different here. We are going to sign off, and I'm gonna estimate in 30 to 40 minutes, we'll come back to you for anybody that wants to see the grave, but I can't guarantee it with the signal that we're going to have, but at least we got this in because it's moving in. So we're going to hurry to the cemetery and we'll catch you guys there, hopefully.